Hi everyone, welcome to today's session on problem solving through programming in C NPTEL tutorial session. So I'm Rupesh Kumar, and today is 14th Feb, Friday 14th Feb, and we'll be doing this tutorial session for this week. So I hope I am audible. So anyone please confirm by typing the chat box. Hmm. Great. So let's start the session in few minutes so that everyone can join. Right? Hi everyone, let's start the session. So is my screen visible? Anyone, please confirm by typing in the chat box. Great. So let me reiterate the rules for this session. So all the question queries and their answers will be, if you want any answer to any queries, you are feel free to ask any queries. The only way you can communicate to me is via chat box. You have to write your queries in the chat box, and then I'll be answering your queries one by one. So you are advised to not spam the chat box by typing your queries again and again. Just type your queries and wait for some moment, and so that I can address the queries. If I don't answer your query, then again you are feel free to type ask your query again, but don't spam the chat box. Fine. Am I audible? Is my voice clear? At any time, at any moment during the session, if you observe that there is some network connectivity issue from my side, please type in the chat box. The issue can be like my screen is not visible, or whatever I'm saying is not being followed on the screen, or even if my audio is not, yeah, even if my audio is not coming fine. So let's start this session. So this week you all have studied this if else and switch blocks in C. I hope every one of you have gone through the problems, gone through the lecture notes for this week, and I'll be covering those topics in this session. And so let's start the session. So in this session, I'll be solving some MCQ problems for you guys. These problems are taken from the These problems are related to the topics that were explained to you in the video tutorials. Fine. So, first question: what is the purpose of if-else statement in C? To execute a block of code repeatedly, to declare variables and constants, to test a condition and execute different code based on the result, or to perform mathematical conditions, calculations. Anyone? So, yeah, correct. So, option C. So, basically, if-else statements are used to test a condition and execute different code blocks based on the result. So let me give you some example how it works. So basically, in the first session, you all remember that we all used flow charts to solve our problems. Do you remember those? So when we were starting to understand how to write code, so we started with this flowcharts concept. And do you remember this diamond block, everyone? So do you remember this diamond block in the flowcharts? So here I'm just giving a brief overview of the if-else statement. So I hope I am audible. It doesn't look like I'm audible. Anyone? Yeah. So I hope every one of you is familiar with this um, flowchart diamond block. Fine. Decision block. So this is used to define some decision. So let's say there is some condition. If yeah, so you check condition. There is some condition here. There is some condition here. If it is true, then you do something. Do this. If it's the condition is false, do this. So this was how you used condition block, decision block in uh, flowcharts. So this is same. This is same as the if else block in C programming languages. So if there is some condition, and if it's true, you do execute some sequence of blocks. If it's not true, then some other section has to be executed. Hello, someone is saying I am inaudible. Anyone else, please confirm. Am I audible? I am audible. No? Fine. So I guess there is some network issue on your side there. So please check that. So yeah, where was I? I was just saying that if else statements are similar to the decision block in um, flowcharts where you checked for some condition, and if the condition is true, the outcome is true, then do something, otherwise do something else. Fine. Similarly, in if else block, you write so you write a if, and then you have some condition. If condition is true, you execute the blocks. If it's the condition is false, this block does not get executed. Fine. So what is the outcome of this conditional expression? The outcome would be true or false, either true or false. Please make sure that the output either true, the output will be either true or false. Only two outcomes are there for this condition expression. And if the expression is true, then the block gets executed. If it's false, this block gets skipped by the compiler, by the program. Fine, everyone. So yeah, this is how. So it's like this. If x is less than 2, then printf value of x is less than 2. Something like this. Fine. And someone might be asking why there are no curly brackets here. Why I'm not using the curly bracket here to specify the block. Why I'm not putting this statement inside the block using curly brackets. The reason is in C programming language, there is a scope of next line whenever there are no scope verifiers. So basically for every if statement, the next line automatically comes into its scope. It automatically comes into its block if there are no curly braces to define the block. Fine. Yeah. So I hope this is clear. Anyone do have any doubts? Please type in the chat box. Great. So let's move on to the next question. So what is the correct syntax of if else statement in C? So let me just expand it so that the options are clear. Everyone, can you see this text? So which of the following is the correct syntax of if else statement in C? So everyone, can you observe this option A? Can you tell me if this is correct or not? This is not correct. Why? So basically, whenever you define condition in your if else statement in C in C, so you need to define that condition within the small brackets, and those small brackets are missing here. So someone is saying no curly bracket. No, there is no issue with the curly braces here. The problem is with the small brackets. The condition should be in the small bracket. Fine, everyone. Yes. So let's move on to the option B. Let's see. So this is pretty straightforward. Number one, the condition is not inside the small bracket. And number two, there is no then statement in C. Fine, everyone. So that's why option B is correct. Let's go ahead and see option C. If there is some condition inside a curly small bracket, and then we have the statements in the blocks defined by these small curly brackets. Fine, everyone. So option C is correct. Fine. Then option D is again incorrect because there is a then statement here, then is not allowed in C. Option C. Fine. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Anyone, if you have any doubt, please type in the chat box. Otherwise, you can proceed to the next question. So someone wants to see the previous slide. So let's go back. Yeah, so you have some issue with question number 1, Rishi. Rishi, can you just type in your query? So I guess you are not responding. So I will consider that your query is resolved. Acha, you want to see question number 2? Okay, fine. So what is your query in question number 2? Option C is correct. Yes, option C is correct. So this option is correct. So what is your doubt, Rishi? Option C is correct. Yeah, Rishi. So I have stated that option C is correct. Fine. Yeah. So I guess there are no doubts. Let's move on to the next question. Which one of the following is true about nested if else statements? So everyone, are you familiar with the nested if else statements? Fine. So basically, nested if else are nested if else means if else inside another if else statement. Fine. So let's try to see. Look, how does it look like? It looks like if there is some condition, condition one, then within that if block, there is another if condition two, then you do something. Fine. So this is how nested if else works. So let's see. Option A, they are not allowed in C, false. So nested if else statements are allowed in C. The else part is mandatory for every if statement. No, the else part is not mandatory for every if statements. The answer is no. Fine. So they allow you to test multiple conditions and execute different blocks of code based on the results. So this is true. Yes. Fine. So let's say you are checking this condition one, then again condition two. If both are true, then only something will be done. So yeah, they allow you to test multiple conditions and execute different blocks of code based on the results. Fine. Option D, nested if else statements are only allowed up to two levels. D, false. You can have as many as nested if else statements as you like. But yeah, yes, fine. So let's answer this. Option C is correct. They allow you to test multiple conditions and execute different blocks of code based on the results. Fine. Anyone, do you have any doubts? Please type in the chat box. Fine. So let's move on to question number 4. So, so what happens if there is no else part in an if else statement? Fine. So it's like if condition, I'm doing something, and then there is something else. So what happens if this is there in your program? The program will not compile. No, the program will compile. This is perfectly allowed. The program will crash at runtime. No, there is no reason to crash it. So single if statement is allowed. If the condition is true, nothing happens. If the condition is false, program crashes. No, nothing crashes. If you have only one single if statement, nothing crashes. If the condition is true, the program executes the code inside the block. If the condition is false, nothing happens. So option D is correct. You all know this, fine. Hmm. Option D. So yeah, if the condition is true, the part program lines of code present in the block will get executed. If the condition is false, nothing happens for that code. Fine. So Anika is saying, show me the previous slide. So yeah, question number 3. So do you have any doubt in this? Please type in the chat box. So yeah, so someone, are you familiar with the nested if else statements, Anika? Can you confirm? Hello, Anika. Can you just tell your query? Like, are you familiar with this nested if else statements? No. So this is how nested if else statements are used. Now let's say you want to check if two conditions are true, then also you have to do something. Otherwise, you have to do nothing. Fine. So do nothing. Yeah. So what you can do, you can use nested if else. Huh. Now is the voice clear now, Anika? Is the voice clear right now or not? Fine. So now if condition one is true, you execute the block under the scope of this if statement, which is all the statements that are inside this curly brackets. Fine. Highlighted in orange. Now in this, you again check for condition two and do something if that condition is true. So this is how nested if else work. So you have one if statement inside another if statement. Fine. Now let's see what is true for nested if else in C. So option one, they are not allowed in C. No, this is incorrect. Nested if else statements are allowed in C. Fine. So option one is false. Option A is false. Fine. Now the next question option is the else part is mandatory for every if statement. No, the else part is not mandatory for every if statement in the C programming language. Fine. Option C, they allow you to test multiple conditions and execute different blocks of code based on the results. So this is true. Fine. They allow you to test multiple conditions. So here we in this example already we saw we have condition one and condition two. If both are true, then also you have to do something. Then only you have to do something. Otherwise, nothing has to be done. Fine. Nested if else statements are allowed only two levels deep. No, I can put some another if statement here also. If condition three, and this is also perfectly allowed in C. Fine, Anika. Why option D is also false? So option C is correct. If this is still not clear, please type in the chat box. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. What happens? So this is done. So let's move on to the question number 6. Which of the following operators can be used to combine multiple state conditions in an if statement? Anyone? Are you familiar with the logical operators? Everyone? Why they are useful? Yeah, most of you are answering option D. So yeah, this is correct. Option D is correct. So I guess every one of you know this answer. D. So basically, logical operators are used to join multiple functions. C. So there is some there's this logical AND operator, which is denoted by the symbol double ampersand. Then there is this logical OR that looks like this, and then logical NOT. So if you have studied these gates, then you know about this. If you don't, doesn't matter. So basically what logical AND says, for example, you have condition 1 double ampersand condition 2. So what it does, it returns true if both conditions are true. Now when you use logical or. So let's say we have some condition 1 or condition 2 returns true if any of the two conditions is true. Fine, everyone. Let's see how not works. So not works like this. If not condition, this means returns true if the condition is false. So basically not is also known as inverter. It inverts one true to false, false to true. So this is how you use logical operators in C. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Fine. So let's move on to the next question. So yeah, I have skipped two questions. I will fill in them after finishing the remaining questions. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. So if multiple conditions are used in a single if statement, then testing those condition is done by anyone. Someone is asking for question 5th again. Okay. So I'll come back to question number 5, but first I need to answer this question number 7. So if multiple conditions are used in single if, then how those conditions are tested? Anyone? Anyone? Do you have the answer? Someone is saying right to left, someone is saying left to right. So no one is saying randomly. Yeah, randomly would mean there is some ambiguity. So we had to choose some convention, and the convention that goes is from left to right, option B. The answer is option B, from left to right. So let's say we have some statement like this: if condition 1 and double ampersand condition 2, then what happens? Condition 1 is invalid. Fine, everyone, from left to right. So this is how this is the order in which the conditions are tested. Now someone had a doubt in question number 5. So yeah, can you explain your doubt in question number 5? Giri Prasad, you were saying that you have some doubt in question number 5. So what's your doubt? Please type in the chat box. So you're not answering, so I don't know if you are there or not. So you can go back to the video recording and then you will get the answer. Fine. Let's move on to question number 9. What will be the value of ABC after the execution of the following code segment? So we have initialized the variables A, B, and C, which are integer variables. A contains the value 5, B contains the value 7, and C contains the value 111. Fine. And then C divide equals to double plus prefix increment A multiplied by B, which is in postfix decrement. Fine. Everyone, by now you should be familiar with the operator precedence table in C. Everyone, are you familiar with this? Everyone, are you familiar with this table? No? Fine. So let's try to solve this problem. So I already have solved multiple problems regarding related to this operator precedence. So someone is saying they are not familiar with the operator precedence. So operator precedent table is essentially like the Bodmas rule that you studied in your class fourth, fifth, where you were starting to learn arithmetic operations. So basically, if there are multiple arithmetic operations in the same statement, multiple operators in the same expression in a C plus C line, C program, then which operator has to be evaluated first? The rule is defined by the operator precedence table. So when you look at this operator precedence table, you can see you have some operators and then their precedence. Fine. For example, this unary operators, this brackets, then array subscripts, and then function call. These things have for highest precedence. Then there are prefix operators have lower precedence, and then so on, and then so on. Fine. Now, what happens if multiple operators of same precedence occur in the same statement? Then you follow the associativity rule. So what does associativity says? It says if in an expression two operators with the same precedence come, which operator will be evaluated first? The operator, for example, in this block, the operator on the left will be evaluated first. For these set of operators, the right to left associativity will be followed and so on. Fine. So let's go ahead and first break down this statement into the operators. Fine. So we let's divide these separate out these operators. This is prefix. So let's write down these in a single line and then define the precedence rules. So the first one is divide by and equals to. The second one is prefix increment. The next one is multiplication, which is asterisk, and then postfix decrement. Fine. How to remember this table? I don't think you need to remember this table. I don't have any mnemonics for this. Fine. So whenever you want to know, you can just refer to this table. Now let's refer to this table and define the precedence in which the operators will be executed. So among these, the highest operator precedence is to the postfix increment and decrement. This means first of all, the which statement will be executed? First of all, B minus minus will be executed. So let's write the operator precedence postfix decrement. Then we have the prefix increment operator, which is plus plus here, plus plus, which is prefix increment. After that, we have the multiplication operator. So you can use right here. And at the last, we have assignment by product, quotient, and remainder. So basically assignment by quotient at the last. Fine. So these are the operator precedences, how they will be evaluated. Let's go ahead and solve the problem. So what does postfix say? Yeah, yeah. Assignment by the quotient is at the last of the table. Yes. So first we have to evaluate this postfix decrement. So let's copy the statement. Hmm. So what does be and let's track the values of these variables as we go on. Fine. So first B minus minus will be evaluated. So what are the values? A5, B7, and C11. So let's track these values here. So let's put in the values. So now what does postfix decrement says? It says use the value as it is and the value of B will be updated in the next line. Fine. So the value that comes here is C divide equals to plus A multiplied by B minus minus would be 7 here, but the value of B would become 6 due to the uh, postfix decrement. Fine. Now the second one that will be executed is prefix increment. So it's directly says that it says directly increment the value of A and then use it. So basically C division quotient assignment by quotient operator. Plus A means A equals to 5 plus 1 6, which is 6, then multiplied by 7, and then A becomes 6 here. Now finally you have to evaluate the multiplication operator. So 6 sevens are 42 here. Now what is the value of C? C equals to C divided by 42. So C becomes, the value of C was 42. So am I doing something wrong here? C is 111. Okay, fine. So C is 111 divided by 42. Since we are dealing with integer operations, so C becomes integer 2. C equals to 2. Fine. So now the final answer is A equals to 6, B equals to 6, and C equals to 2. So option number C is correct. Fine. Option C is correct. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Someone is saying, can you explain again? So I hope you are familiar with this operator precedence table. So the first thing that we do is write down all the operators that are present in our statement. So these are division equals to basically quotient equals to operator, assignment by quotient. And then the next operator is prefix increment here. Then arithmetic multiplication. Then postfix decrement here. Fine, everyone. Now let's go back to the precedence table and we see that postfix operators have the highest precedence. Then comes the prefix, then arithmetic multiplication division, then assignment by quotient. Fine. So this is how the order will be. So I write down all these operators in the corresponding order. So first we have to evaluate postfix decrement, then prefix increment, then multiplication, and then assignment by quotient. Fine. Now the initial values were A equals to 5, B equals to 7, and C equals to 111. Now, first we have to solve this postfix decrement. So we already know what is the meaning of postfix. The postfix operator says that you have to change the value of the variable, but from the next line onwards, not in the current line. In the current line, you have to use the value as it is. So first we evaluate b minus minus. Though the value of b becomes 6 here, the value 7 will be used here because of the nature of that operator. Fine. Someone is saying prefix will be done first. No. So when you look at in the precedence table, postfix has the highest reference precedence. So why you had this doubt? Because I'm just following the C operator precedence table. So if you're following the GCC compiler, then this is the order. Fine. So the value that is being used here is 7, but the value of b becomes 6. Now the next one is prefix increment operator. So what is the prefix value of plus plus a? Which is 6. A was 5, so a becomes 6 here, and the value of a becomes 6. Because of the prefix, the value updated value is being used here. Finally, we have c divide equals to 42. So basically, c divide equals to c assignment by quotient essentially means c the value of c will be the quotient obtained on division dividing c by 42. So c was 111. So the quotient would be 2. Thereby c will be 2. So the correct answer is option C, where A is 6, B is 6, and C is 2. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Fine. Now someone is giving me another problem. So let's look at that problem and solve it. So let's see. Fine. Someone is saying the table is wrong. So I don't know, like GCC precedence table. So let me check few more websites if I'm wrong. No, I don't think the table is wrong. So yeah, everyone, please don't. So yeah, I'm not referring to Chat GPT for this session. So I won't be checking anything related to Chat GPT stuff here. Fine. Now, if you want to ensure that the table is correct or wrong, just go and write some problem and you will see what is the output. Fine. So yeah. So someone is saying me as plus plus is 5 and it moves to left to right, a plus plus becomes 5 because. So what was the question? If a equals to 4, what is the answer of this question? B equals to. So let's say int a comma b, a equals to 4, b equals to plus plus a minus a plus plus. So std, oh sorry, f a, b is B. So first the postfix. So basically four and then 5 - 4. The answer should be 1. So you can see the value of B is 1. So Sagar, I hope you got your answer. Now let's say, so this is a nice example. How why the answer will be 1 and why the chat GPT table is wrong. I mean, whatever you are referring to is because now let's see this expression. I hope the text is visible, everyone. Fine. So you are saying B equals to plus plus A minus A plus plus. Now let's say prefix has to be evaluated first before postfix. Then what would happen? Let's see what happens. Then the value of A is 4, no? Now B becomes, so first you will evaluate this expression, no? According to that table, whichever you are referring to. Fine. And then you evaluate the second part. So let's first evaluate the first part, which is inside the bracket. So what is the value of plus plus A? It will become 5. And since it's prefix increment, so you have to update the value and then use this. So it becomes 5 here minus A plus plus. Now you have to evaluate the postfix increment. And what does postfix increment says? Increment the value after this line. Fine. So the value 5 will be used here, and then the value of, so the value of A becomes 6 after this line. Fine. So what is the value of B? In that case, it is 0. No, if the prefix has to be evaluated first. Now let's evaluate this problem. You can see the compiler saying the value of B is 1. So is this clear that the precedence table is correct? And Sagar, is this clear? How did I solve your problem? So basically the order is incorrect here. First you have to evaluate. First you have to evaluate this and then this. So it will be 4. And then you have to evaluate plus plus A here. So it becomes 5 minus 4. Fine. Yeah, postfix is evaluated first. Fine. Yeah, Sagar, do you have doubt or should I proceed further? Sagar, is your question solved on query answered? If you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Fine. Hello. So everyone, are you familiar with this switch case statement in C? So let me give you a brief introduction on how it works. So yeah. So how does switch case work? So basically you have a you have a switch block, and inside the switch block you have some variable here that holds some value. Yeah, the variable can hold multiple values. Fine, like one, two, anything, some integer or character values. Fine. Now you define some cases. Case, now value one, and then you define this, give this colon, and in this colon, you inside the block, you define a block and you write something to do if the variable contains the value one, do something. Fine. And then there is this default case. If the value in this variable does not match any of the cases, then this default case gets executed. One thing to note here is break statements are required for every case other than the default case, the last case, because if there is no break statement here, then all other cases get executed. All the cases get executed. So this is how switch case statement works in C. So I hope everyone has gone through the video lectures and have the understanding on how these statements works. So let's solve the problem. So what will be the output of the following program? Hashtag include stdio.h. So you are including the standard input output library. Then you are defining the main function, and within the main function, what you are doing, you are declaring an integer variable x that contains the value of x. Now you switch to the variable x. So switch to the value stored in the variable x. Inside the switch block, we have one case one. So basically, if x has the value one, then you have to print f choice is one and then change the line. If the switch value does not match as any case, so if it's not one, then printf choice other than one. So everyone, what is the answer? Yeah, answer C is correct. Why? So since yeah, x matches the variable value matches the case one, so it will print case choice one. But since there is no break statement here, so what happens? Other cases also get executed. So option C is correct. The default case also gets executed. Fine. Anyone do you have any doubts? Please type in the chat box. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Which problem you want to answer me again? Current one. So yeah, so it checks for the condition. So it switches to the variable x. Now, if x has a given value, that is the if x has the value one, this is defined by this case one, then you have to print the value choice is one. Now, what happens? There is no break statement here. If there is no break statement, then what happens? All the cases beneath the current case will get executed. Fine. So it will again print choice other than one. Fine. Aryan, is the answer clear to you? So someone is saying, is the default statement necessary? No, it's not necessary. Then someone is asking, what will happen if we pass the float? So floating point values are not allowed in the switch statement. So any data type is allowed which can be converted to integer. For example, character can be used here. Fine. Any other doubts? Anyone? Fine. So someone has uh, question number 6. Someone has doubt in the previous question, how a equals to 6 here. So yeah, you can see there is this prefix increment, no? Dhan Lakshmi, can you get this answer? Why the value of a becomes 6 here? Basically, there is prefix increment here at a, and a was 5. So what will the value of a become 6 here? Fine. Dhan Lakshmi, is this clear? Acha, in the code. Okay, let's go through the code. So you have two increment operators here, no? One is plus plus a, and the next one is a plus plus. So let me break down how this is getting executed by the compiler. So basically, it says b equals to a plus 1 minus a equals to a plus 1. So this is how it will be executed. Now a equals to a plus 1 returns the value of a plus 1, which is 5. So which says b equals to 5 minus a is 4. And in the next line, a becomes a plus 1. So this is how a gets 6. Then Lakshmi, is this clear? So you can simply expand this operation prefix and postfix like this. So a b equals to a plus 1. So you know that the result of a equals to a plus 1 is basic. This statement returns the updated value, which is 5 here. So you all remember that the assignment operator returns some value. Then Lakshmi, is this clear? Can you confirm? So when you solve this expression, no, these two, you will get the value of a equals to 6 and b equals to 1. Then Lakshmi, can you confirm? Is this clear? Great. So anyone else, do you have any doubts? Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Great. So let's take a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll resume the session. Fine. So I have some programming problems for you guys that I'll be solving, and then we'll, yeah, fine. So let's meet after the small break. So, hi everyone, welcome back to the session. So, let's resume. Am I audible? Great. So, we have to write a C program. I'll be writing C programs for you. Fine, fine. We remind the grade of a student based on their score. If the score is above 90, it's an A. If the score is between 80 and 90, check if it's above 85, then it's A minus, else B plus. Below 80, if it's above 70, then it's C, otherwise it's a D. So let's write down this logic. Fine. So let's say we have the marks stored in the variable M contains the marks of a student. Now let's define the ranges. If it is greater than 90, then what should be the grade? If then grade, the grade has to be A. Fine. If the marks is greater than 80 and less than equals to 90, you have to check again if it is between 85 and 90. So basically, if it is greater than 85 and less than equals to 90, the grade has to be A minus. Fine. Else, if the grade is less than 85, less than equals to 85, then the grade will be B plus. Fine. Below 80, if it is less than 80, so M is less than equals to 80, then what you have to do, you have to check if it is greater than equals to 70, then the grade is C. Else, if M is less than 70, the grade is D. So this is how we define the gradient scheme, and let's use if else statements in C to solve this problem. Fine. Everyone, do you understand the logic how I will solve this problem? So let's write down the C program for this. So this is problem 11. So as usual, you'll use the standard IO library for taking user input and printing items on the screen. I mean, yeah, you can do by the switch statement. You will have to use if else there. So it's a bit tricky. So let's not use switch and use if only. Fine. Okay. So let's take marks, the variable. that stores the marks obtained by a student. Now we would like to take input from the user, no? Please enter your marks out of 100. Fine. Now you use the scanf statement to enter the input. Everyone, do you remember the scanf statement? How do we use it? You define the format specifier. So we are taking integer inputs here. So we're using %d. Then you have to pass the address at which the variable will be storing the value. The address was specified by the ampersand operator and then the variable name. Then you get the value in the specifier. Now let's refer to the logic and solve our program. So if marks is greater than 90, so you have to tell the user that your, so let's give a default printf statement for everyone. Your grade is fine. Now A. If the marks are greater than 90. Now if marks is greater than 80, double ampersand, we are using logical and to join two conditions. M is less than equals to 90. Then what you have to do? You have to check if M is marks is greater than 75, then you have to print the statement that you have grade A minus. Fine. Else you are scoring grade B plus. Fine. So this is the division if the marks are between 80 and 90. So let's put it some else state else if. So you don't need this else if here. Still I am putting it. Else if, since marks can be exclusive, the divisions are exclusive. So it is 85 here. Fine. If marks is less than, so basically it covers that. If it's less than 80, then what you have to do? You have to check if it is greater than equals to 70. If marks is greater than 70, greater than equals to 70, then you have to print grade C, else you have to print grade D. Fine, everyone. So let's put this beautiful line change statement so that the terminal is not hogged with this. So /n. Yeah. So this is how you write this program using nested if else. Why we are checking I'm greater than 75? So yeah, there was a mistake by me here. So it is M is greater than 85. Fine. Other than that, the program is perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and compile using the GCC compiler and then run our program. So let's say if I score 92, my grade is A. If I score 99, also my grade is A. Now, let's say if I score 86, my grade is A minus. But if I score 84, my grade is B plus. Now, if I score 79, my grade is C. If I score 69, then my grade is D. Fine, everyone. Do you have any doubts in this program? Anyone? Please type in your chat box. Someone is saying my screen is lagging. Is this for everyone? Is this true for everyone? The screen lag issue? Fine. So there is some network issue, Dimple, on your side. Fine. So other than that, anyone, do you have any doubts in this program? So this is the program that will solve your problem. If you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. So these are basic practice problems that you should solve on your own so that you get an idea on how to write C programs. So how to develop algorithms to solve basic problems in C. So no one has any doubts. So someone is saying what is nested switch? So nested switch is also like a switch inside a switch statement. So let me give you an example like NVMNS. Fine, it's like this hashtag. So let's say if I have int x equals to 10, 10, and then we have int y equals to 20. Now let's say you are using switch case statement, switch to x. Then in the switch block you have case 10. Then inside the case block you have another switch statement. You switch to y, switch to y, and then you again have case 20. Case 20. And then you say, let's say x equals to 10 and y equals to 20. So this is how nested switch works. So it's a switch statement inside a switch statement. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sagar, is this clear how I'm using this nested switch statement? So you can see is this is working. Now let's say if the value of y was 21, then nothing would have been printed. So nothing is getting executed here. So yeah, you want to me to explain again. So let's say we have one switch statement and you switch to x variable x and then you define a case. Now let's say if case 10, if x the value of x is 10. Fine. Now you define some block for this case statement. Sagar, is this clear? So you need to do something within this case statement. You need to specify some instructions to the compiler that you need to do this when this case is true. Sagar, is this clear? Fine. Now within this case statement, let's say you use another switch statement, another switch case. So like here, you are in line number 11, you are saying switch to Y. And then again, you define the cases for this switch statement. Can you see this? So I'm simply using one switch statement inside the case of another switch statement. Is this clear? Sagar, can you confirm? Yeah, great. So now are you familiar with nested switch? Should I proceed? So hi everyone. Anyone, do you have any doubt in this problem? So I guess we should proceed to the next problem. So write a C program to print the day of the week name using switch case. The input should be day of the week. Ask the user to the end, and you should print the uh, name of that day. Fine. For example, if the day of the week is 1, you should print Monday. If the input is 2, you should print Tuesday. If the input is 3, you should print Wednesday. If the input is 4, you print Thursday, 5 for Friday, 6 for Saturday, and 7 for Sunday. Fine, everyone. Should I solve this? So let's go ahead and solve this problem. So let's give user some feedback. Day of the week. So you have to enter the day of the week in the next line. So we all know the scanf statement, how it works. So you need to provide the format specifier followed by the address of the variable in which you want to store the value. Now let's use the switch case statement. The switch in the small brackets, the variable you want to switch it to, and then define the body of the switch statement and start defining cases. So if case 1, what you have to do? You have to print a Monday. It is Monday. Fine. If case 2, what you have to do? Printf Tuesday. If case 3, Wednesday. Case 4, for case 5, Friday. Case 6, Saturday. Case 7, Sunday. Fine. Now, if there is some other input other than these cases, what you have to do? You have to give the default case. Kindly enter a valid value between 1 and 7. Fine. Now let's change the line simply. Everyone, did you get this program? So let's run this. Everyone, did you get this? Is this clear? Am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Can anyone just type in the chat box if I'm audible? Great. So is this program clear to you? So you are switching to the case, switching to the variable in which the value is stored, and then you check the cases. If the cases are true, you print the values. Fine. Anyone do have any doubt? Hello. Fine. I think no one has any doubt. So can you identify, is the program correct? Is there any mistake? Because let's say if I run this program and I say it's 3, it prints Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Kindly enter the valid value between 1 and 7. So is this is incorrect? No? Yeah. So this is the example where you can see the missing break statements create havoc here. Fine. So that's why you need to provide these break statements for each case. So let's provide these statements. Fine. Fine. Now when you run the program, it will be correct. Like first day is Monday, fifth day is Friday, 7th. Now let's see if I enter 9, it will say, will kindly enter the valid value between 0 and 9. 0 and 7. Yeah. So someone is saying any specific command to run program. So in Unix systems, you can run using dot front slash and then program name. Fine. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. So wherever you require to execute multiple blocks using same, depending on the same condition, you need these curly brackets because by default only one line comes under the scope of some statement. Fine. Anyone else? Do you have any doubt? Great. If you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Great program. Yeah. Someone wants to see question number 11 again. So let's open up this. Yeah, this is a great program. Aryan, can you see the program? Hmm. So someone is asking the assignment program. I won't solve that program. Fine. So someone is saying that the curly brackets are not necessary. Let's check that. I don't think so. That's true. Okay, yeah. So you are right. Curly brackets are not true, required for these switch case statements. So someone is saying how will they be able to access the recorded recordings? So this will be shared by the NPTEL team to you guys. Fine. What's true? Legit? What is true? So please type in your queries in the chat box if you have any. No, you don't need to use the curly brackets in the switch case statement. Yeah, that we checked right now. You can see here itself. Fine. Anyone else? Do you have any doubts? No, in switch case, you don't need curly brackets. So yeah, you don't need curly brackets for switch case statements. Fine. So you need for basically for case statements. So whenever you're defining a case state block, you don't need these curly brackets. Fine, let's move on to the next question. Now, write a C program to find maximum between two numbers using switch case. Fine. So let's say we have two numbers, 10, 20, and you want to find the maximum among these two. So we know the answer is 20. But the catch is you can't use if-else statements. You can use only switch case statements. So we will solve this problem using something known as ternary operator. Everyone, are you familiar with the ternary operator? Fine. So let's solve this problem. Comma B. So first of all, just tell the user to enter two numbers. Please enter the first number \n. Then use the scanf statement, define the provide the X format specifier, pass the address of the variable. Then again print the second variable, enter the second number, and then again scanf SD and B. Fine. Now you have two variables and you want to use switch case to find which one is maximum. So we all know that there is some ternary operator in C. How does it work? It essentially works like this. So you have some value one condition, some condition here. Then this question mark. If condition is true, value if condition is true, and then a colon, and then value if condition is false. Fine. So in as contrary to the if else statement, where you can only directly use if and you don't need any else part, but in ternary you need to provide the value if the condition is false. Fine. So this is how ternary works. So let's see how we'll be using it. Switch. So let's use ternary to check if let's use ternary. Which value is larger. Fine. So int max is equals to. So you check, is A greater than B? If A is equals to B, then the value should be 2. Else, if A is greater than B, the value, so else return the output of Then return the output of this comparison A greater than. And do you know what it will return? So if A is greater than B, it will return 1. Otherwise, it will return 0. You know this, no? This boolean conditionals, it checks the value and it returns some boolean value. Fine. Now you switch to max variable and do some checking. So if case one means printf variable A has larger value of format specifier percentage %d in the value A, fine. Then break for case 2, printf the, there is case 0 in the beginning. So there should be a case printf variable B as larger value of percentage %d, then print the value, fine. Now both variables have the same value of percentage %d backslash n, and the values you can pass either A or B. You don't need break for the last case because there are no other statements there. Fine, everyone, and you understand this problem? So let's enter the first number 1, second is 2. So variable B has a larger value of 2. Let's say first is 1, second is 1. Both have the same value. And the second is 45. The first one is for 33. The variable A has the larger value. Yeah, fine. Yeah, someone is saying they want me to explain line number 14 again. So are you familiar with this ternary operator? So let me expand this expanded version. So if A equals to B, it says max equals to 2. Else if A is greater than B, max equals to 1. Else max equals to 2. This is what this ternary operator does. Shaurya, is this clear? Shaurya and Dimple, is this clear? So how are we solving this ternary operator? So basically int max equals to A double equals to B question mark. Then the value if condition is true, or colon the value if the condition is false. Is this clear? Are you familiar with the syntax of ternary operator in the line number 14? Are you familiar with this syntax? This ternary operator syntax? So you're not. So yeah, it's the please go back to the video lectures and see again. But yeah, this is the ternary operator. Condition. If the condition is true, then question mark. If the condition is true, then some value has to be returned. If otherwise, if the condition is false, some value has to return. Fine. There is a question mark followed by the condition. Yeah, it is a syntax. Yeah, question mark is a syntax. And then colon separates out the two values if the condition true or false. So from line you can't understand, but I have expanded this. No, can you see these if else statements? I have expanded this ternary operator into this if else set of if else statements. Can you understand these, Dimple? In line 21 it has to be max, has to be 0. Yeah, yeah. So this is how ternary operator works. Anyone else? Do you have any doubt? Someone is asking why there is this question mark. So this is the syntax of ternary operator. If this condition is true, then this value has to be used, then colon, and otherwise this value has to be used. This is a syntax. Fine. So class is over. You can leave the session. Yeah. So in line 14, why are you writing 2? So 2 is the value if the condition is true. So I'm saying if A is greater than B, then the value has to be 1. Else the value has to be 0. If they are equal, the value has to be 2. That's why I'm using 2 here. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Yeah, the PDF will be shared with you guys. Yeah, so yeah, this if you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. Otherwise, the session is over. So you can build logic by solving these simple problems on your own. Then only you will be able. By solving more and more problems, you will be able to solve this. So I have no idea about the pattern of the NPTEL program. So what is C? So you can go back to the video lecture and you will understand what was there. Fine. Shaurya, please go back to the video lecture again and you will understand this. So I won't be, so I see you are, Arvind, you are asking some question from the current week's assignment. I won't be solving that for you. Fine. So thank you all. You can leave the session. Fine.